They should be ashamed of themselves.
It's not the best situation for me.
I'm on my way back from a failed attempt to get my daughter back in my life.
It's time to hear from the parents. In my last video titled Why Millennials and Gen Z Are Going No Contact with Their Parents, we talk about why this group of people are no longer speaking to their parents, including myself. Well, in this video, we're going to be hearing from the parents and hear their perspective and see what they have to say regarding their kids going no contact with them. So we're getting another perspective here, which, I mean, you guys will see throughout this video. It's very interesting to say the least. And remember, if you like this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And without further ado, let's dive right into this video.
Here's a little secret for you estranged parents out there. The majority of you, some of you, you deserve all the stuff that's going on. I've heard the stories. Some of you absolutely deserve it. But for the majority of you, do not let their brainwashing convince you that this is all your fault. Because it's not. The majority of these cases are normal family issues.
That's the main problem, is that they're quoted as normal family issues when it's apparent that there's a growing segment of people that relate across the globe that there are family dynamics, family structures, family things that are going on that should not be normalized nor should be accepted. So people are putting their boundaries in place and they're letting it be known that they don't accept this. So no, majority of these cases are not normal family issues. They're issues that are not okay. It may be normal in the sense that they're always there, but it's apparent that this generation that has technology and is really learning more about self-help, they're not putting up with the BS, and that's okay.
Every single family probably has to some extent. Now, all of them have different facets, but y'all do not let this group of psychotic people with my link is in the bio, I'm licensed, clinical, whatever. They should be ashamed of themselves. You do not deserve to be thrown away.
I'm going to try to come at this video with the tame perspective, but like it's hard to when people are not being tame themselves. You know, like these psychotic people, you do not deserve to be thrown away. Well, you don't know. Obviously, not every parent is in a wrong, but like all the videos that we're watching and people outlining their issues, it seems pretty valid. And then hearing parents just like this person just is all the problem in itself. You highlighted these are normal issues to be dealing with. It's fine. That's gaslighting. Like, you're not going to gaslight me thinking that this is the normal issue we'd be dealing with when it's not. There are things that are common within families that are just wrong and should not be accepted, and that's okay to call out. Like, again, this is gaslighting, and you have to be careful with gaslighting, especially when it comes to family, and not even just family, but friends, your employer, and random companies as well, especially if you get injured. But thankfully, if you do, you can check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Everything is free unless you win your case, which that alone is mind-blowing in itself. But not just that, their lawyers don't play. Someone got offered $20 million pre-trial, and then they linked up with Morgan & Morgan, and boom, they ended up getting $120 million. This person right here got offered $16,000 pre-trial, and Morgan & Morgan said, nah, I need you to add a couple zeros to that. And a lot of us haven't even gone through something like this, but we're all aware if you're gonna tackle a major company, you're gonna need a major law firm to back you up. And Morgan & Morgan would do just that to fight and get you every penny that you deserve if you become their client. It only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case, and you can do that by going over to forthepeople.com/Amir. And as you see here, you can receive your free case evaluation on a multitude of case types. And remember, when you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're not just getting a lawyer, you're getting a whole dedicated legal team. Case investigators, paralegals, and customer case specialists that are all focused on maximizing your settlement. So if you ever got seriously injured or you're injured now, your case could be worth millions and you're only a few clicks away from finding out and changing your life forever. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan by going to forthepeople.com/Amir, which is in the link below, or you can scan the QR code here on the screen. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Okay, mamas, let's chat. Time for another chat. It's hard. We carried these kids in our bellies for 9 months. We nurtured them. We did our best. We did our jobs at parenting them.
I'm gonna let this woman speak, but I'm gonna tell you right now, none of us asked to be here, and that's the biggest thing. None of us asked to be here. None of us asked to be born. It was your responsibility to take care of us. That is your job as a parent by default. You don't have to do the bare minimum and say, well, I raised you, I provided a roof over your head. No, you need to be doing more than that. I'm sorry.
Okay, and as hard as it can be for us, it's needed for our mental health, okay? And unfortunate as it is, we now need to be our priority. We did what we could do. We did all we could do to instill values in them during their childhood. We can only hope that they learned something. And we can pray that those values stuck enough that they can follow through when raising our grandchildren. We don't have to agree with their lifestyle. We don't even have to like it. But the world that we live in today has changed, and that's out of our control. I have even been told that the therapists are suggesting the kids go non-contact with their parents, but they're only hearing one side of the story. So realistically, all we can do is put our faith in Jesus Christ and pray that he can protect them and protect our grandbabies.
I will say, I haven't spoken to a therapist about my own situation, and when it comes to the whole therapist recommending that maybe it is best that the child go no contact, it is unfortunate that they're only getting one side of the story. However, I can only speak to and relate with the scenarios and people who have gone through, excess 15, 20 years of issues with their parent. Like, I think it is wise for people to try to work things out with their parent. I think it is wise to try to reconcile and fix things and go to therapy, the whole nine, with your parent. But if it's been a clear sign that nothing's going to change after 15, 20 years, then go no contact. But I will agree with this parent that when it comes to the younger generation, like younger Gen Z, like your early 20s, cutting off your parents, and if it's not for like a legit reason, or you guys haven't really put in that work and put in the years of effort, it's a little dicey, you know? But I have to say, everything that this mom is saying to the other parents is very healthy. Very healthy, a very mature mindset. She's not even upset. She's like, listen, the world has changed. If your kid wants to go, let them go. Nothing you can do about it. Like, all you can do is hope that the things that you did instill in them stuck with them onto your grandchildren, and that's that. Which is pretty healthy. Because I did pop off in the beginning, just talking about how, like, I always hear that excuse. I always hear that excuse of, well, we raised you, I fed you. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I needed food, I needed a place to live, but you didn't give nurturing. You just provided that I stayed alive. And that's not, there's more to being a parent than just that. You know, and especially if you're also adding in a toxic layer to that and treating me bad, I'm remiss. You got me messed up. But this mama right here, very sweet. I'm gonna call her Nancy. Nancy's very sweet, humble woman. Nothing was wrong.
Little message for our estranged parents. The reason why we can be judged upon what we do or what we have done, it's because we've been through it. Our children don't understand what we've been through because they haven't been through it yet. They have many years to conquer before they are where we are, before they can judge who we are. And we aren't called survivors for no reason. We have spent many of our years to work on ourselves and to be where we are today because of what we have been through. Having children for us wasn't a light decision. Neither was the responsibility, but we did it. But as we didn't, you gave up on us very easily. You took our pain and you turned it into judgment. And it didn't matter whether we were right or wrong. We still did it. By now in our lives, we've made our mistakes, but we've also learned and we've come to terms and we've acknowledged. And there is absolutely no book on parenting. And one day you'll be where we are right now, and those little people that you're nurturing and bringing up without us will be standing next to you and judging you. And that's where you forget that that time that lapses in between is the time that we could have supported and helped you through your hard times.
You know, she seems very sweet. This is very, like, I'm kind of taking it in. I'm like, damn, it's kind of hitting. It's very sweet, but, and I'm gonna let it continue, but it is interesting to me that she's like, these videos that we're watching so far, all these parents seem kind of like innocent, like they're the victims, when majority of the cases that I've come across, like a good chunk majority, and even for the people like I know in my life who have gone no contact, it's very serious stuff. Like, it's very serious traumatic things that these people are going no contact for. So she's sitting here acting like you're gonna be in my shoes and one day it's gonna happen to you. Probably not. I doubt it, because that kid has since learned, hopefully, what not to do. In addition to that, it seems like there's very serious reasons for these kids to be going no contact, and y'all are just acting like well, it was me, like I can't believe that happened, or I'm not talking to my kid. We don't have the context. We don't have the story. Like, I'm not hearing anything from these parents, like what happened to the Jews. I'm just hearing about, like, oh, it happened to me, and it's gonna, like, one day they're gonna look at this and regret this, yada yada, like.
By now, most of us estranged parents are in our late 40s, early 50s, even late 30s. And by now, most of us have done the work. We've done the therapy, and we've acknowledged and accepted our wrongs and made them right. And we may have had it all wrong, but we can't change the past. but we're ready to make it right. However, this new estrangement criteria that you impose on us, it's new to all of us, but it's not new to the fact that communication, bonds, and connection are a part of a family network.
I am concerned with like her situation and what exactly happened, because she's talking as if it wasn't that bad and like the kid left her for no reason. It sounds very like pity me, when all I've heard is major cases as to why someone's going no contact.
I realized, and I was actually taught, that it's easier to give up on someone than to work on it. And most of us don't understand that it is a lot harder to work on what we're going through, or our trauma, or anything that belongs in our past, to live a better future. Instead of blaming ourselves and blaming others, we should work on ourselves and towards each other.
Very solid advice. And it is sad. It does remind me of, like, say you have someone that's gone no contact with their parent, and then after years of going no contact, that parent decides to go to therapy and they're learning more about themselves and they work through all the problems, but they burn that bridge so hard to where now the parent has worked on themselves and improved so much that they don't even have the chance to reconcile with the kid. That's the one thing that does suck. It's like, even if the parent does the work to become a better person, how will that kid know if the kid is now going no contact with their parent, you know? And how will that kid gain the trust to even accept you back in your life after the years and years and years of the trauma that you put that kid through? Double-edged sword, it seems like. But it is a needed perspective to at least hear from.
I'm on my way back from a failed attempt to get my daughter back in my life after 3 years. Hi, I'm Antoinetta, Healthy Sense of Self. If you're in a similar situation, please listen, because something I will share with you that helped me. I just wanted to talk to her and see where she was living. I didn't know that. I had to find her place. It was really hard to find. First, I had to take a plane and rent a car and find a place to stay, which was really hard.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. My own family don't have my damn address, okay? You are not pulling up on me. If my father ever, my sperm donor, ever pulled up on me at my crib, problems. We have problems. You cannot do that. How are you? That's crazy. I get you birthed a person, but like, you don't have the right to pull up on an adult like that. Scour the internet and reach out to people, find their address, fly there, rent a car, and drive up to the front door? Oh no.
And the next day I went on this excursion to find her house, and it was really remote, and but I was really happy to see it. And you know, I sat on the porch for a while. She wasn't home, so I left a note. And the next day I came back and I found her note. I didn't invite you. I don't want to see you. Make sure you never come back to my house. Never show up at my house. That's what she said.
Yes. Am I wrong? Like, don't pull up on me. Don't go to anybody's house uninvited. That's like FaceTiming someone randomly. I'm sorry. If you FaceTime me and I answer, watch. My friends are probably watching this right now. They're gonna FaceTime me. If you FaceTime me and I answer, you a good one. You a good one. That's how you know. Don't just answer FaceTime. That's like showing up to someone's house unannounced. It really is. You had no business pulling up on that woman like that.
She didn't say never. Don't show up at my house anymore. And it felt a bit like a threat, like if I would do it, that she would call the police or something. I don't know my daughter like that at all. So I'm very, very surprised. But what can I do? Pain, yes, a lot. But yeah, I have to respect it. She's an adult person, right? So yeah, after some thinking, I remembered I had a course from at Udemy, and it was about estranged parent-child relationships. I listened to it. It was by, I have to see what that name was, Sufana Garza, a very special woman who made it very conversational, and it was like talking to her. She gave a lot of insight, and one of the things that's so important, that it took away my feelings of guilt and of shame, really. because there's much more going on in this day and age. It seems to be an epidemic, she says. Like, so much has changed in society, and a child needs, to be on her own to find her sense of self. And yeah, she is right for that. And even though I don't like it, I, of course, grant her the space that she needs to find herself. And I'm really sorry that I interfered in not developing that really well in her. It's actually my trait, so it's really, really, ironic, so to speak. But hey, this is reality.
You know, she seems very sweet, but to pull up on your daughter's house unannounced, and you just said you don't know her like that, wild. Two, I appreciate the Udemy course. It seems like she's trying to understand a little bit on what to do. And yes, it is an epidemic of people realizing that they don't need, especially as adults, to keep toxic people around. Totally get it, totally respectable. But I'm glad, at least from this woman too, that she acknowledges, after pulling up, flying and renting a car, that maybe it is okay to just, step back and give the woman space. Give the daughter space, leave it alone, and drop it. I don't know this. See, the millennials are always telling the stories. This person's not really telling any stories. She's just saying that I pulled up on my kid that I don't talk to. But I'm glad Udemy was there for her. I'm glad this person got a course, figured out what they needed to do, and they're going to leave their child alone. Because you're right, it is something that's happening, but it's because people are realizing that they don't need to keep the toxic people around.
Press pause so you can read this.
Can you please help me learn how to apologize to my kids for things I'm going to read that again. Can you please help me learn how to apologize to my kids for things I didn't do? They tell me I'm insecure and I'm just stumped. I've tried every way possible to explain that it's not my fault. Ma'am, that message alone is toxic. I'm sorry. How to apologize for my kids for things I didn't do. What this man about to say?
How can you help me apologize to my kids for something that I've never done? So I'm immediately suspect of this. I don't know you, so don't take offense at it. I'm just suspect because people, unless they have addiction, mental health issues or something, people don't just like randomly lie and say, you've done something to me, therefore you need to apologize. And then the other person's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what I've done. That's super rare. And so something has happened, and maybe you're just not aware of it, or you don't want to admit to it, or you don't think it's a big deal. And so typically you would need to come into a therapist's office with them so you could sit down and kind of hash this out. I'm not going to be able to do this, tell you what to do via TikTok on how to get your kids to accept your apology if you think you haven't done anything and they think you have done something.
Exactly. Like, that's just not going to happen at all.
If they think you have done something, they probably have told you what it is. And if you're not agreeing with it, and that's your prerogative, I suppose, but I would suggest you get with a third party and have a more detailed conversation about this, because something's going on.
The doctor's like, this is sus. You need a third party because clearly what's working between you two is not happening. And that's how I think it should be done. I don't think, say, an adult child is like thinking about going no contact with their parent. I don't think that person needs to run to a therapist and then have the therapist talk to them for the one-sided story. I think what needs to happen, if there's going to be therapy or an outside source involved, then you need to involve a third party to come see the dynamic of what's going on between you and the parents to kind of get to the truth of the matter. And I've had third parties from me. I've had 2 third parties actually intervene. 2 different people intervene. We've all chatted, and it just won't work. It just won't work. So I do, and I should have said that in the other video that I reacted to, but I do agree that there should be, personally, I do think there should be a decent amount of effort put forward to repair the relationship between the parents and the child. I do think that. I don't think people should just be willy-nilly cutting off parents left and right. There does need to be a lot of work put into it, and typically there is. Like this doctor said, unless it's something crazy, there typically is something big that has taken place.
I cut my mother off almost 2 years ago, and about a month ago, my own daughter, an adult now, cut me off. Why? Boundaries. I no longer tolerate narcissistic gaslighting behavior from anyone. I don't care if you birthed me or I birthed you. I do not and will not tolerate it in my life. Now, side caveat, if you are around a narcissist, like I was raised or how my daughter is now living with my mother, you tend to display those traits. So do I think my daughter's a narcissist? Absolutely not. Do I think she is being influenced by one? 1000%. And I can say that with complete authority because I was influenced for over 30 years. You could have called me a narcissist up until a couple of years ago because those are the traits I displayed. But once I stepped away from that toxic environment, once I stepped away from that person and realized how gross and disgusting my behaviors were, I realized they weren't authentically me. They were not mine. They were learned. And that was a huge reality check for me.
That's what you would I'd say that's in the other way. You would think that if this happened to you, you would learn how to be a better parent. But I guess you just learned how bad you were, hence your daughter cutting you off. And you learned yourself that you took in your mother's habits, but like she's clearly okay with her child being gone. She's like, you know, whatever, she wants to be gone. This is kind of wild. I'm baffled by the fact that she's just so blunt and so with it. One. Two, I'm shook that like you don't talk to your mom and you got an own kid that don't talk to you. And you're just acting like you're proud of it. It's like, whatever, like we're all like taking care of ourselves. That's not good.
You know, my kids don't talk to me right now. I couldn't be more proud of them. I mean, does it devastate me? Of course it does. Every day, I'm heartbroken. But I couldn't be more proud of them. They're doing what is best for them. And at this point in their life, they think the best choice for them is to not have contact with me. Well, good for you. Like, it makes me cry. I want my children to have their own self-esteem and their own self-love. And they're pursuing it. And yes, it's not the best situation for me, but my job as a parent is to create an environment where they pursue who they want to be and live the life they want to live.
That is healthy. That is impressive. Obviously he's upset, but he's like, you know what? I'm happy for them. They're doing what they need to do to take care of their own mental health, and that's what I've always wanted them to do, is take care of yourself. So I can't even be mad at it. Come on now. Somebody commented and said, I want the antidepressants you got. That's bold. That's a really neat perspective. It sucks for him, obviously, and we don't know the family dynamics. Obviously, something big enough happened to where they're not talking, but the fact that he's leaving them alone, giving them a space, and he's proud of it, that they're doing what they need to do for themselves, can't be mad at it.
Y'all can take this for what it's worth, but I think there are some people that would rather be estranged from their own children than do the hard work of healing their inner child. Because when faced with the two options of either estrangement from their family or having to deal with their own demons, I think they decided to pick the lesser of the two evils, which is estrangement. Because when you're estranged, you can still live in your bubble that everything is the way that you think it is, that you're the victim. And how could they ever have anything negative to say about you?
That's literally just like that comment we just read early in the other TikTok that we reacted to. Some parents would rather be estranged and actually put in the work to see what behaviors or how they're acting is affecting the relationship with their own child.
Dealing with issues head on, dealing with the fact that you might have a lot harder. And I think some people just don't want to do it.
That's a fact. That's the situation I'm in. Listen, I'm willing to put in the work. I've tried to put in the work, and there's some people that are just not. And that's the unfortunate truth. You know, there's a lot of people who are willing to put in the work, as in like typically the adult children, and the parents are so stubborn and hard-headed that they think everything's normal. They're not doing anything wrong, or that's how they're perceiving me. It's how they've taken it. It's always not, they're not the problem. And some of them are just rather, you know what, forget it. Like the other video we saw, forget it, let them go, it's fine. They'd rather do that than to do the work for themselves, because doing the work for yourself is a way harder to do. I mean, that's what changing is. When you're changing your whole mindset, you're changing your worldview, it is uncomfortable. Your brain's having to form new pathways. You're having to come up with new thoughts and ideas on how to navigate certain situations, and that's uncomfortable. But not everything uncomfortable is a bad thing. Being uncomfortable is an opportunity for growth. It's an awesome thing. It's amazing to grow. It's amazing to learn new things. It's amazing to see how you can change and how you're perceived and how you can talk to certain people and really work on fostering relationships. That's an amazing thing to look forward to. But unfortunately, there's a lot of parents who think otherwise.
Your terrible therapist told you to cut us off. Nope. Your wife poisoned you against us. Nope. Your millennial friends infected you with your entitled ideals. Nope. You suddenly became selfish and uncaring overnight. Nope. You don't love us anymore. Nope. You were always secretly a bad kid. Nope. Your therapist inserted false memories to make you hate us. Nope. Your mental illness has skewed your perception of your childhood as being negative. Nope. There's no other possible explanations. How about if you treated me as an adult and honored my boundaries, we would still have a relationship? I wouldn't have even held my childhood trauma against you if you had just respected my boundaries. Okay. We learned our lesson. We'll start respecting your boundaries now. No, you won't. How many times have you told me that already? You've made it quite clear that the only time that you're going to respect my boundaries is when you're dead. And I'm kind of doubtful that you'll even respect them then. This is the end of our relationship. My family is going no contact. And the only reason for that is because you chose to consistently not honor our boundaries. That's on you.
Relatable. I mean, notice in the beginning of that video, it's all you. That's typically how it always is. And then finally the parent comes around and it's like, I'm going to change. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to fix this. But there's been so many chances that it's not. And that's the irritating thing about this whole no contact thing. And I've talked about this in my other video from the children's perspective. There's a little bias here. It's my perspective too. But it's really harsh things that push us to this point. It's not just like a little disagreement here or you irritate me or frustrate me here. No, it's life. Like literally more than half my life has been spent dealing with issues with my parents. And it's not happening. It's not working. Clearly it's not. Haven't changed. Other people still going through things and it's not healthy. It genuinely just is not. So this scenario, that little skit, it highlighted what a lot of us go through, unfortunately. And it's just not fun to hear those things from the parent and then all of a sudden they want to change. So if you have not seen that video yet, I highly recommend you go watch my other video, Why Millennials and Gen Z Are Going No Contact with Their Parents. Really great video, insane amount of views, but so worth the watch. So as we've gone through this video, we've seen the perspective of the parents, at least some of them. And there's a lot of parents who just don't care. They're just like, you know what, my kids no contact, whatever, do them. There's parents that do care, but are respecting the boundaries. There are parents that are like very gaslighting and feel like they did nothing wrong and they're building a squad of no contact moms on TikTok. It's interesting. But needless to say, because we obviously in this generation we're getting more of the perspective from the kids because of social media and that's the ones who are using it more. And it's rare you're gonna have someone that's like really late millennial Gen X is gonna come on TikTok and share their story. We've gone through a couple, but it is evident that at least, again, I'm trying to like it's hard not to remove my bias because like I am one of the children that's cut off their parents. It is, I spoke about this earlier, it is rare that it's for no reason. And I will give credit when credit is due. I will say I think there is a small subset of people who are cutting off their parents willy-nilly, and I don't think that's okay. There is a subset of people who are going to their therapist instead of going to a joint therapist or adding in a third party to fix their relationship. And I think that should be done too. Whenever we talk about this no contact thing, I don't think people should just willy-nilly just uproot their family because I value family. I really wish my mom and my father were different. And it sucks to say, but they're not. I can only deal with the cards I've been dealt, and I'm going on about my life. That's all I can do. But with that being said, at least I know for me personally, I have tried. That's all I can do. I've tried. And the people that reviewed in the first video, it's apparent that a lot of them tried to. The people in my life that I know that are going no contact, they tried to. And it's these stubborn parents, it's this Gen X that won't accept things for how they are. So the one thing I will take away from this video that I did learn, where my perspective was brought in, especially given that I'm one of the children, is thinking about how no contact with the parent. And there are some parents out there that seem like they've made huge changes in their entire world being, and they've done the therapy after, like, it was the no contact that pushed them over the edge to transform into a new person, to the point where they can't even go back to the kid and show them like, hey, I want to work on this again. I'm a new person. I went to therapy. I did this and that. That kid's long gone, don't even care because of all the trauma that you put them through. And I'm all for second chance, and I'm all for really giving somebody a chance when they have changed. So that is I mean, it's opened a door for me. Like, I know I'm no contact, but if I hear things have changed from other people, I'm willing to give it a shot. I for sure would. And I hope other people would too. So with that being said, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Would love to hear from you regarding this topic and you know, hearing your stories about no contact. Or if you are a parent who has a child that's not talking to you, share your story below. I would love to hear it. The stories beneath the other video, insane. A lot of them are making me emotional, quite frankly. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning into this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow a ton. And thank you so much for the support, especially my Patreon members. You guys mean the world to me. And as always, remember, I really do hope you know that you control more than you know. And you have the power to put forth immense change in your life. And especially when regarding your own mental health, you take charge of that. Don't let anybody tell you how to think, not even your therapist. Do the work yourself, read a lot of self-help books, talk to other people, get different perspectives, and just try to grow from that. And if you are dealing with issues with your parent, or you're a parent dealing with issues with your child, the least I can tell you that you're not alone. And there's a lot of other families going through these tough things, at least regarding like the actual big issues when it comes to no contact. And there's a network that you can reach out to do the growth and learn and figure out how to cope with something as hard as this. So that's all I got for you this video. I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys for being here. Deuces.